Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Osama Shab. Rekha Gupta has been announced as the new Chief Minister of Delhi by the BJP. This makes her the fourth woman to hold this position in Delhi, the second woman from BJP to become the Chief Minister of the capital, and the first BJP Chief Minister in nearly 3 decades. Her swearing-in ceremony, along with the new cabinet, is scheduled for Thursday, marking a significant event as BJP takes charge after 27 years.
ये सम्मान केवल रेखा गुप्ता का ही नहीं है, ये देश की हर बहन का, हर बेटी का सम्मान है। और आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को दिल की गहराई से बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
मैम, विमेन के लिए क्या कहेंगी?
चल रहे हैं
विमेन के लिए क्या कहेंगी? विमेन वोटर्स के लिए जिन्होंने वोट दिया,
उनके हक की लड़ाई, उनके हक का एक एक उनका जो अधिकार है वो उन तक पहुंचे, ये मेरी प्राथमिकता रहेगी।
Thank you, ma'am. So in fact, this was Rekha Gupta with us exclusive on NDTV. She is in fact the CM-elect, and she's saying that for women, certainly that will be a priority. I'm currently being joined by Rekha Gupta's husband here. Sir, of course you must be very swelling with proud pride at this point. But tell us how you're feeling.
सब लोग बहुत खुश हैं, बहुत एक्साइटेड हैं। सब जो है मोदी जी की जय जयकार हो रही है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी की जय जयकार हो रही है। सब वही सेलिब्रेट करने के लिए इकट्ठे हुए हैं और रेखा जी का इंतजार कर रहे हैं।
आपको कैसा लग रहा है कि योर वाइफ इज नाउ द फोर्थ चीफ मिनिस्टर, वुमन चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ दिल्ली?
सभी अभी बहुत खुश हैं, सब एक्साइटेड हैं। अभी जो है कोई भी ना, सबका किसी का दिमाग सब एंजॉय के मूड में।
बहुत बहुत बड़ा फैसला किया है, आज खुशी की बात है, लेकिन उनके ऊपर, कंधों के ऊपर एक जिम्मेवारी भी बहुत बड़ी आज डली है। तो मेरी उनको शुभ आशाएं हैं, वो अपनी इस जो नई एक बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेवारी जो शुरू हुई है वो उसमें सफल हो सकें, और हम लोग जितना भी सहयोग दे सकेंगे वो उनको सहयोग देंगे, वो अपना कामयाब हों और दिल्ली एक विकसित दिल्ली और दुनिया में बड़े से बड़े शहरों के सामने दिल्ली भी वैसा शहर खड़ा हो, मैं यही कामना करता हूँ।
रेखा जी को विधायक दल का नेता चुने जाने पर बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन, बहुत बधाई। मैं जानती हूँ कि आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के कुशल नेतृत्व में रेखा जी दिल्ली में विकास का एक नया अध्याय रेखांकित करेंगी।
प्रस्ताव आते ही वो खुशी देखने लायक थी और सभी लोगों ने रेखा गुप्ता को सर्वसम्मति से 9 लोगों ने अनुमोदन किया और बाकी सबने स्वीकार। नाम उसी का चलता है जिसके बारे में कोई न कोई सोचता है, लेकिन जो बन गया उसको सब स्वीकार कर। आपको ऐसी दिल्ली बना करके देंगे जिसपे आपको एक दिल्ली के नागरिक के रूप में गर्व होगा।
बहुत गर्व की बात है। और जो दिल्ली के अंदर 50% महिलाएं दिल्ली के अंदर भारतीय जनता पार्टी को जिसने वोट दिया, उन सबके लिए सम्मान की बात है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सम्मान की बात है और दिल्ली के लिए सम्मान की बात है। निश्चित तौर के ऊपर कल सुबह से डबल इंजन की सरकार दिल्ली के अंदर विकास करेगी।
Rekha Gupta is the woman of the moment. Currently, she is in fact, going to be the Delhi's chief minister, and in fact, she was there inside with the, with the senior leaders of the party like Ravi Shankar Prasad, O.P. Dhankar, Delhi BJP President Viren Sachdeva. Also, with some of the MPs, she was there to stake claim for the BJP government that is going to take, oath tomorrow at the Ramleela ground. And interestingly, we also saw Parvesh Verma inside. We also saw Sirsa, Manjinder Singh Sirsa, the BJP leader, also inside. So tomorrow morning we are expecting the picture will be clear, because right now we have the chief minister, but certainly more, the cabinet minister's name will also be out by tomorrow. She's the woman who has been, for a very long time with the BJP. And this time she has won from Shalimar Bagh as well, and the BJP has rewarded her. So the second woman chief minister from the BJP for Delhi that the national capital will be seeing tomorrow. And after, in fact, being handed that, a letter of approval from the central leadership, she, in fact, thanked Prime Minister Modi, because certainly, she's saying that it was all possible because of him. Tomorrow at around 12:45 is the time that we are expecting that she will be taking oath as the Chief Minister. It is going to be a mega event because, it is a comeback of the BJP almost after 3 decades, and over 25 to 30,000 crowd is expected for this oath-taking ceremony. Prime Minister Modi will be there, Home Minister Amit Shah will be there, but apart from that, there are the other union ministers going to be there, but also special invitees that have been, asked to come for this mega event. So a lot is lined up for tomorrow.
Bharatiya Janata Party gained votes from all sections of society this time, be it the Jat community or the Baniya community, or for that matter, the Punjabi community as well. And therefore the reason perhaps in this 6 ministers who would be taking oath apart from the Chief Minister, there would be, a combination of all the caste that we could see, perhaps the senior leadership and the young newly elected MLAs would also get a chance, but probably all of these 6 would be, the top leaders. The Home Minister of the country has already indicated that the central leadership will be in coordination of the state government, will take the national capital to its glory, and will make Delhi, as promised, the top capitals of the world as well. Certainly it is after the Legislative Party meeting, the newly elected leaders have gone to LG House to stake claim for the new government, and tomorrow it would be the grand oath-taking ceremony that will take place. But now the entire timeline has come out as to how Rekha Gupta had been elected as the Legislative Party leader.
The key factor here would definitely be her, of course, her background and her history as well. This is someone who is not new to politics. She has been an RSS member for the past 32 years. Her membership with the BJP as well has been of 27 years. So this is not someone who's new to politics. She was very early on, she started her political journey with the ABVP, and then she became the DUSU president as well. So she has fought the Delhi University Student Union elections. So this is someone who knows her way up, who has grown her way up, and of course definitely the fact that the BJP in its election campaign this time round also focused upon the women voters and women's schemes as well. So, bringing in the fourth, her as, the fourth female Chief Minister of Delhi is quite, at this point, it comes across as a very strong message. And these are the factors which I believe have led her to, of course, she did get proposals from Vijendra Gupta, Parvesh Sahib Singh Verma and Satish Upadhyay as well, and now she is the Chief Minister of Delhi.
The Mahakumbh Mela has become a focal point of political contention, with Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath defending the event against criticism, particularly from opposition leaders. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's remark calling the Mahakumbh a Mrityu Kumbh sparked controversy, with Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav backing Mamata Banerjee's criticism.
हमारी संवेदना उन परिवारजनों के प्रति है, सरकार उनके साथ खड़ी है, लेकिन इस पे राजनीति करना कितना उचित है?
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister returning the opposition volley on the Mahakumbh. Speaking in the assembly, Yogi Adityanath rebutted every allegation thrown at him and his administration.
কিন্তু প্ল্যানিং না করে এত হাইপ তুলে এত লোকের মৃত্যু বললেন 30 জন, কথাটা কি সঠিক? কত ডেড বডি ভাসিয়ে দিয়েছেন नदीতে?
इनके एक और सहयोगी उससे भी 2 कदम आगे आकर के कहती हैं कि महाकुंभ मृत्यु कुंभ में बदल गया है। ये क्या है? इस प्रकार के गैर जिम्मेदाराना बयान सनातन धर्म के जुड़े हुए सबसे बड़े आयोजन के प्रति दिए गए।
जब मुख्यमंत्री जी ने ये कहा कि 100 करोड़ लोगों का हमें इंतजाम है, तो लोगों को भरोसा बढ़ गया, लेकिन इंतजाम अच्छे नहीं थे। अभी तक की सबसे ज्यादा लोग खोए इसी कुंभ में है, जान गई इसी कुंभ में, लोग बीमार हुए इसी कुंभ में।
महाकुंभ का विरोध पहले दिन से कर रहे थे। लगातार अगर समाजवादी पार्टी के सोशल मीडिया हैंडल को देखें, उसके माध्यम से लगातार दुष्प्रचार किया गया।
And it was just not the opposition. UP CM stoutly defended water quality allegation. This after the National Green Tribunal rapped the Uttar Pradesh Pollution Control Board and the UP government for not submitting adequate details on fecal coliform and other water quality parameters in the river Ganga in Prayagraj.
डिजॉल्व ऑक्सीजन की मात्रा ये 8 और 9 से अधिक पाई जा रही, यानी संगम का जल स्नान करने लायक भी है और आचमन करने लायक भी है।
With just a week to go for the Mahakumbh to end, the battle for faith between the BJP and the opposition is reaching a crescendo, with the opposition targeting Yogi Adityanath on Mahakumbh alleged mismanagement and the Chief Minister cornering the opponents with attack on Sanatan charge. Bureau Report, NDTV.
In a significant relief for Siddaramaiah, the Lokayukta has given a clean chit to the Karnataka Chief Minister, saying that there is not enough evidence against him in the Muda scam case and that this case is of a civil nature and not criminal nature. The Lokayukta report also mentions that there is no need for any further action. The ongoing tussle between the Tamil Nadu government, led by M.K. Stalin, and the central government has intensified over the issue of the three-language policy, part of the national education policy. Here's a report.
The DMK's protest against alleged Hindi imposition by the centre through NEP got an artistic twist with these rangoli on the streets of Chennai. M.K. Stalin maintained his offensive, quoting poet Bharatidasan's verse that said, "If it's your right to impose Hindi, it's our right to abolish it." All this a day after his son and Deputy CM Udayanidhi virtually declaring a language war.
இந்தியை ஏத்துக்கிட்ட பல மாநிலங்கள் இன்றைக்கு தங்களுடைய தாய்மொழியை இழந்து நிற்கிறதை நாம பார்த்துக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறோம். உதாரணத்திற்கு பீகார் மாநிலத்திற்கு பிகாரி, ஹரியானாவுடைய தாய்மொழி ஹரியான்வி, உத்தரப்பிரதேசத்துடைய தாய்மொழி போஜ்புரி, இந்த மொழிகள் எல்லாம் இன்னைக்கு கிட்டத்தட்ட அழிஞ்சு போயிருக்கு. இதற்கு காரணம் அங்கெல்லாம் ஹிந்தி நுழைந்ததுதான்.
The centre and the BJP have been categorical. They have declared that there's absolutely no imposition with the three-language principle and that funds will not be released till the state implements the NEP. The state BJP has launched a door-to-door campaign in favor of the three-language principle.
From 1965, the politics of the state has revolved around language, has revolved around opposing Hindi. So it will take some time to percolate down because they are 10 people, 15 people shouting together as one block. So we are very confident BJP as a party, we will be able to break through this communication barrier of the Indie alliance, whatever DMK is trying to set a narrative.
In the 60s, the anti-Hindi agitation had catapulted the DMK to power. The party hopes its tough stand now will help it get a consecutive term in elections next year. 60 years down the line, the BJP hopes its three-language policy would strike a chord with masses to expand its negligible footprint in Tamil Nadu. The big question, does the Saffron Party undermine language emotions in the state? In Chennai, Sam Daniel, Find the TV.
7 students of a government college in Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala were suspended on Tuesday for ragging a first-year student by brutally assaulting him, making this the third such incident of assault in the name of ragging in Kerala in the recent weeks. This comes at a time when Kerala's Higher Education Minister R. Bindu has said that a state-level anti-ragging mechanism would be instituted to address the growing concerns of ragging in educational institutions.
ഞാനും എൻ്റെ കൂട്ടുകാരൻ അഭിഷേകം കൂടെ ഇങ്ങനെ നടന്നു പോകുമ്പോൾ അവിടെ സീനിയർ പയ്യന്മാർ നമ്മൾ തടഞ്ഞു നിർത്തി അടിക്കുമായിരുന്നു. അടിയുടെ ഇടയ്ക്ക് അഭിഷേകാണെങ്കിൽ ഇവിടെ ഓഫീസ് റൂമിലോട്ട് ഓടിപ്പോയി. അപ്പം ഞാൻ അവിടെ ഒറ്റയ്ക്കായി പോയി. അപ്പോൾ എന്നെ അവർ കുറേ അടിച്ച്. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഒരു വേലു എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഒരാൾ എന്നെ യൂണിറ്റ് റൂമിൽ കൊണ്ട് നിർത്തിയിട്ട് എന്നെ മുട്ടുകുത്തിയിരുത്തിയിരുന്നു. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് മറ്റേ ക്രിക്കറ്റിൻ്റെ സ്റ്റമ്പൊക്കെ പിടിച്ച് വെച്ചിട്ട് എന്നെ അടിക്കുമെന്നാണ് പറഞ്ഞത്. ഇരുന്നില്ലെങ്കിൽ അടിക്കുമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ്. എന്നിട്ട് ഒരു അടി തന്നു, കവലത്തിൽ ഒരു അടി തന്ന്. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഞാൻ വെള്ളം ചോദിച്ചു, തൊണ്ടവൻ്റെ വെള്ളം ചോദിച്ചപ്പോൾ എല്ലാവരും പുറത്തിറങ്ങിയിട്ട് വെള്ളം ഒരു ചേട്ടൻ ഇങ്ങനെ പാവല്ലേ കൊടുക്കാമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് ഒരു കുപ്പി വെള്ളം കൊണ്ട് തന്ന്. അങ്ങനെ അത് വേലും ആൾ പകുതി കളഞ്ഞിട്ട് വാണ്ട് തുപ്പി വായിക്കത്തെടുത്ത് തുപ്പിക്കിട്ട് ലാസ്റ്റ് വന്നത് വായ കൊണ്ട് എടുത്തിട്ട് തുപ്പി ഏട്ടാണ് എനിക്ക് കുടിക്കാൻ തന്നത്. ഞാനാണെങ്കിൽ കുടിക്കില്ല എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ പകുതി കുടിച്ചിട്ട് തുപ്പാൻ വേണ്ടി വന്നപ്പോൾ തുപ്പിയ അടിക്കുമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ്, തലയടിച്ച് പൊട്ടിക്കുമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ്. എന്നിട്ടാണെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ കുടിച്ചത്. എന്നിട്ട് എന്നെ അവിടെ ഇരുത്തിയിരുന്ന് 1 മണിക്കൂർ കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടാണ് അവിടെ നിന്ന് വിട്ടത്. ഇനി പരാതിയായിട്ട് വരല്ലേ, എന്നിട്ട് യൂണിറ്റ് റൂമിൽ നടന്നതെന്ന് പുറത്ത് പറയല്ലേ. എന്നിട്ട് എൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് പറഞ്ഞ് ഞാൻ അഭിഷേക് എന്നെ അടിച്ചെന്ന് പരാതി കൊടുക്കാൻ പറഞ്ഞ്.
The councillors from the Nepal embassy, Sanjeev Sharma Das and Nabeen Raj Adhikari, they held a meeting with Odisha ministers Mukesh Mahaling and Suryabanshi Suraj over the death of a Nepali student at KIIT. Meanwhile, the BJP student wing, ABVP, has come out in solidarity with the Nepalese students, ensuring their safety and support.
We approached the central government of India, Ministry of External Affairs. We also approached to the university and also approached to the Odisha government. So after the dialogue with all these people, I think the Odisha government people, they went to KIT and instructed them to reverse basically their notices. So I think there was a U-turn immediately after the intervention of the government of India. Now the hostel is open and the classes have been resumed. But in the meantime, government of Odisha as well as the KIT University, they have suspended, taken actions to several of their officials as well as the security guards. We have also requested all the students to come back to the hostel.
In an ongoing fiery exchange which has sent shockwaves through global diplomacy, Donald Trump has attacked Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky again after earlier accusing Ukraine of starting the war with Russia. Trump has called Zelensky a modestly successful comedian and dictator without elections, further adding that Zelensky better move fast or he is not going to have a country left. Listen in to what the two leaders said earlier today.
Раз вже говоримо про 4%, ми бачили цю дезінформацію, ми розуміємо, що вона йде від Росії, ми розуміємо це і у нас є докази, що ці цифри вони обговорюються між Америкою і Росією. Ну, тобто, на жаль, президент Трамп з великою повагою до нього відносимося як до лідера народу, який ми дуже поважаємо, американський народ, який нас постійно підтримує. На жаль, живе в цьому дезінформаційному просторі.
I think I have the power to end this war, and I think it's going very well. But today I heard, oh, well, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal.
U.S. Special Envoy for Ukraine and Russia, Keith Kellogg, is in Ukraine on his first official visit to Kiev since his appointment. During his trip, Kellogg is set to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Oleksandr Syrsky. President Zelensky emphasized the significance of the visit, stating that it is crucial for Kellogg to see for himself the realities on the ground. And the Adani Foundation has launched the She Initiative, which stands for supporting her exponential empowerment. This framework is designed to foster women's empowerment by focusing on providing equitable access to opportunities. The initiative aims to address the evolving needs of women throughout their lives, promoting their growth and development in various sectors. It includes strategies discussed in stakeholder consultation and is highlighted in the She Report, which details the Foundation's efforts to empower women holistically.
The Adani Foundation released a new framework for holistic empowerment of women named Supporting Her Exponential Empowerment, that is, SHE, in Delhi on Wednesday. It is an ambitious initiative aimed at empowering women across all age groups, from birth to adulthood to old age. The SHE framework was released after the first national-level roundtable consultation in Delhi. which brought together key stakeholders to discuss strategies and chalk out pathways to accelerate women's empowerment across India. The event saw the unveiling of the Foundation's Butterfly Effect framework, a transformative approach tailored to address the evolving needs of women throughout their lives.
This framework, which we call it as a butterfly effect, that once you have entire journey covered, there's an exponential empowerment you'll see within the women, and they can take decisions, they can contribute to the nation, they become an empowered individual.
Adani Foundation is now planning to share the innovative SHE framework with central and the state governments for its effective implementation in the country.
Individually, no one stakeholder can do that, but collectively, everyone has a role to play. There's a policy level intervention, there's a ground level intervention, there are strategic intervention, there's a resources to be put in. So all the major critical intervention stakeholders have to come together to take this framework and look at as a mission mode approach of a women empowerment. Today we had a first inaugural consultation on this approach, and where government participation was there, NGOs, corporate foundations, NGOs, everybody was there, and we put our framework out to them, and also they had a lot of inputs, a lot of contributions on this framework, and now we will take it as a collaborative way how we take this forward, because there will be policy level interventions required, there will be ground level intervention required, there will be financial resources required. So all this thing will now take a shape and move ahead.
Adani Foundation has been organizing programs for development of women in the country for the last 28 years. In Delhi with camera person Mohammad Mursaleen, Himanshu Shekhar for NDTV.
That's all we have for you. Keep watching NDTV.